What's going on? My name is Marcus Whitley, and this is Good Behavior. Now, you can find me on all social media at I am Marcus Whitley and find any of my books, Both Sides of the Street, Choices and Consequences, Greatness Under Pressure, and Battling Demons, all on Amazon. Now, today, in this episode, it's another work release segment where I travel outside of the studio and interview different guests.
Yes.
Now, today I'm at 93.7 with the queen of Connecticut hip hop
Oh my
and
God.
co-host of Bad Marriage for Life, the podcast and reality show. Next to me, I have Jenny Boom Boom.
And Marcus got me in my work clothes, so it is what it is. Okay, here we are. But thanks for having me on your show. This is cool. Like, we're friends anyway, so this is awesome. But I mean, I'll say, yeah, like you really spruced up our studio with your fancy lights and things. But welcome to you. So what do you want to know from me there, Marcus? What's the questions? Ask me anything.
The biggest question is,
Yeah.
what is it like getting to work in one of the greatest radio stations in the New England area?
It's funny because I feel so much pride in my job and the fact that I get to be a part of Hot 93.7. We've been here so long. Like, I've been here for 23 years. So it's kind of just second nature.
Okay.
You know, it's my second home. It's always been. My career is so important to me. It's like incredibly important to me. I'm going to get a little more comfortable here. I'm going to do I'll take off my shoes. Let me take off my shoes and like do a little, oh yeah. Okay, there we go. That's better. No, but you know, honestly, I absolutely love working here. I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know, people over the years would say like, don't you want to go to New York or go to LA? And, you know, I've had those opportunities to, you know, do so many great things. And I have worked in New York. I worked at SiriusXM for a while. But, you know, Hot 93.7 is my second home. I love it here. I love the people that work here. I love my managers. I love the great opportunities that, you know, I get. I love being out in the community and working in the clubs and doing happy hours and community events. And it's very emotional for me because, you know, I just love it so incredibly much, you know. It doesn't feel like work. We have fun every single day in here. We laugh every day.
That's what's the most important thing too. When you love your job, it always makes it better.
Well, yeah, I mean, I tell, because I go and speak at schools, and this week I actually spoke at Quinnipiac. But, you know, when I talk to students about, you know, because, you know, they're undecided. Sorry, that's our Odyssey logo. But, you know, students will be undecided, and I say, you know, you really should pick, like I say, there's two different groups of people. There are people that work their whole life to retire. So they work so that they have enough money so that they can build their dream house or go travel and live the life that they want to live. And then there's people that are living their dream every single day. So I always try to encourage students to find what their dream is, like what's going to make you feel super happy, you know, something that you're going to feel passionate about for your career. And because I've been lucky enough to have that experience, you know, and I didn't go to school for this. I was literally a DJ. Okay, I wasn't even like a DJ. Let me bring you back. So I used to dance. I was a choreographer. I was a dance teacher and stuff. I grew up competing and all of that. That's what I did. I loved music. And I ended up getting a job at my friend's DJ shop when I was younger. And like, you know, I'm talking, I don't know, early 20s. And so, you know, because they used to have these DJ shops where DJs would come in and you would take out the 12-inch record and play the record for the DJ. And then the DJ would say, oh, yeah, that's dope. I'll take it or not. So I worked in one of those DJ shops. And I actually started DJing because there would be downtime and I would like learn how to, you know, on the turntables and all of that. And there was no like, you know, Serato or anything like that. Like this was you literally having to mix beats, you know, and listen. And I got some gigs. I started getting gigs and I was like, oh my God, like I got this gig at this spot called The Pub in Newport, Rhode Island. And it was right around the corner from the DJ shop. So I would get off work and I would fill the crate with all the records from the DJ shop that were already open because I couldn't afford to buy records. And I would go down to the pub and I would DJ and I was making $15 an hour and I thought I was rich. I already had kids by then. I was taking the bus over there to work and whatever.
That was a lot back then, though.
Well, I mean, it felt like a lot, you know? And so, because, you know, I was living on like Section 8 and stuff. I had kids. Like, I didn't have a ton of money or anything. And so, so that happened. And basically one day a DJ walked in that I knew that worked at this radio station called Kicks 106 in Providence. And he was like, oh yeah, we're looking for interns. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I really want to do the radio. So he hooked it up so I could go in, meet up with the morning show there. The morning show actually loved me. And one of the reasons why is because, well, I was super passionate, enthusiastic, like, whatever you guys want me to do, it's free. You know, I'm working for free. Whatever y'all want me to do, I'm gonna do it. And it was an hour away from where I was living, but I was like, I'm gonna make it happen. I don't care, whatever it takes. So I get up there, but the reason why they really picked me was because I used to dance and stuff, and my body was like really like, I was very toned. And they were like, hey, are you willing to do a breakfast in your underwear on Fridays? We all get in our underwear, we go out in public, and we do breakfast with the community. And I'm like, you know, I was like, whatever, I don't care, you know, like I'll get my underwear. And they were like, all right, cool, like she's willing to do this. So I think that was part of it. But nowadays they would never do that. Like you could never do that. There'd be like 100 lawsuits. But yeah, so I did that. And while I was there as an intern working for free, I actually learned everything I needed to learn at that radio station. And just stayed through other shifts and learned everything about the radio. And then eventually they put me on an overnight shift. My boss at the time, Joe Dawson, was like, hey, you're on the schedule for tonight at midnight. And I'm like, oh my God. And I had learned how to run the board, because that's something you have to learn before you get on the radio. I learned how to run the board. I knew, I knew what to do in there, but it's so different than being put on the radio. So midnight, I get there, I have bubble guts, I'm as sick as hell, and you're in there by yourself. And mind you, there's no computers running music. So like, if you got to run the bathroom and stuff, like you got to try while the CD is playing, and you got maybe 3 minutes to use the bathroom, which is all the way across the dang office. But anyway, so I was in there midnight to 6, and my first break, I was like, Kicks 106, blah, 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 blah. I don't remember exactly what their tagline is, but I was like, da, da, da. And at the very end of the break, I said, instead of being like Kicks 106, like ending, like Kicks 106, I was like this. I was like, bye. And so I went into the corner and turned my face into the corner and cried after my first break. And then I had to like give myself this talk. I said to myself, okay, this is your big break. You've been working hard for this. You've been interning for free for so long. Now you have the chance to get paid to do something that you love, and just get it together, Jenny, get it together. And so I was on till 6, and it was pretty messy. It was ugly. It was an ugly situation, but I'm a glutton for punishment. So he asked me again, can you fill in? And I filled in, and he helped me. He was like, you know what, let me help you and teach you like what you did wrong. And it was amazing. And then after that, I was offered midnight to 6 full time, like a little while later, while working there. I moved into the midday, and then they fired me. So they fired me in 2001 because and by then it was Hot 106. And Steve Smith, who actually started Hot 97, was the consultant on the station. But he's the one that put me in the midday, so thank you to Steve. But they fired me because they had a music director that they're going to have him actually do the midday instead. So I lost my job. But they were like, you can stay on so you can make a tape and get it together so you can get a job. And then this station flipped. So my boss in Providence, and we were cool, we're friends, we're still friends. He runs a station down in Atlanta now, Jerry McKenna. But he said, you should go to that station in Connecticut. It just flipped. First FM station, hip hop and R&B. And I'm like, Connecticut, really? And he's like, yeah, you should go to Connecticut. So long story short, he got in touch with the consultant for the station. He said, I have somebody for you. And the consultant said, you know what? Overnight a cassette. So my friend Eddie Santiago put together a cassette tape of my breaks. Yes, hello, here we are. This is it. This is how long I've been doing it. And he sent it over, and they called me the next day and said, hey, we want you to come down to Connecticut. So I drove my little beaten up Hyundai down here, and on the way down, I heard Angie Martinez on the radio. She was promoting her album on the radio, and I knew Angie because I had done events with her in Providence. And so when I came down here, I interviewed with them, and they asked Angie, should we hire Jenny? And she said yes. Wow. And then they made me an offer like the next day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To have those kind of relationships with people already, and then...
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of what this is people, people don't want to vouch for you unless they know, like, you're going to do a good job or whatever, right? So, and then I started here, and I originally was hired for late night, and then Fresh was hired right after me. I moved down to the midday because the girl they were bringing in originally for the midday, she decided she didn't want to work here. She left and went back to New York, and she's like a big time radio person now. So, and then I moved to the midday, and then eventually I went into the afternoon, and I've just been in the afternoon for a number of years, and I enjoy my job every single day. I love it. I love it.
So you were here for the birth of 93.7.
Yeah, so I was actually, I guess, the first person technically hired to the station because there were people already on staff from the last format, which was Dancing Oldies, that they were keeping. But they hired me and brought me in first, and they brought Fresh in. And, over the years, the staff hasn't. Buck was actually on the radio station with me in Rhode Island. So me and Buck Buck is a big deal, and he was actually from Rhode Island. I met him when I was like 18 years old. I've known Buck a long time, but he came to what was Hot 106, and me and him had a morning not a morning show. No way. I'd like to sleep in. A mixed show Saturday nights called Noise from the Underground. So we were working together on the air, and then he was offered afternoons, and then I went to the midday. And then when I got fired, I ended up leaving, and he came here a year later as my boss. So yeah. But it's been a great run. I love it. Yeah.
Now, is there anything that you've learned over the years that you wish you could have known when you first started?
I think that, anything in any career, it's about experience. Like, you have to learn by doing your job, your career, living it. The only thing I think I say now with my age that I really wish I had enjoyed more over the years, meaning like I've let my anxiety get the best of me a number of times when it came to like I'd be in LA for the Grammys or BET Awards or whatever it was. Like I was the one that everybody else was partying, and I'm like, I have to go back to the hotel room so I can put together a list of questions for the interviews tomorrow, where I probably could have done that the next day or something, I picked on myself a lot. Like over the years, I picked on a lot of, you have to show a certain amount, you have to exude a certain amount of confidence, and you have to be thick-skinned in this business because people will really, really try to tear you down. They say mean things, and I think it was really like once my interviews went viral, like on World Star, or like when I was working for Vlad, and I would look at the comments, and of course, like everyone would be like, "Don't look at the comments," but I would look at the comments, and they would say like really mean things about me, and these people don't know me; they just know what they see, and they're just judging or whatever. So I had to learn how to really be thick-skinned over time. But I think my biggest regret is just worrying more than I needed to worry. I worried about being great all the time, and I really love my job. Like I love everything I do. I love, I have a number of clients. I do marketing. I love everything about it, right? But I think that over the years I didn't really enjoy it. So I'm now in the phase of I can't pick on myself. I have to like just do what I love to do and enjoy the process because you spend a lot of time, being worried about stuff that maybe it's not even going to happen, or there's some people in this world that can just do what they want to do, or do stuff and they feel okay with it. Me, I would walk away from a Nicki Minaj interview and be like, oh my God, I should have asked this, or this, that part, like that wasn't great for me, I should have didn't. And there was a lot of that over the years, even though there was praise and people would say, oh, that was a great Nicki Minaj interview, and MTV would play it, I still would see like the flaws in it. Yeah. I would say like, oh my God, I should have done this. And I think that now I'm in the phase of my career where I'm kind of like, I know I'm really good at what I do, and I try really hard. But if it doesn't work out exactly the way it's supposed to work out, it's okay. Mm-hmm.
They always say like you're your own biggest critic.
Well, yeah, and it's funny because even when we were at Quinnipiac the other night, and I was, we were showing, because it was, the kids wanted to see interviews and talk about interviews and writing and stuff, for radio, and we were going through some of my interviews, and I told the kids, like, I have never seen this interview. Like, I've never watched this interview. They're online. You can Google Jenny Boom Boom interviews, whoever, and see their interviews are all over the place. But I have never watched them myself. And it's so strange because I guess I should be the first one in there to be like, okay, let me cut this way and make sure this, but I just always had people helping me with that. And I think that, I don't know, I think it's because there was so much anxiety to watch it. Like even with the podcast, I don't really watch the episodes. When we do the Bad Marriage for Life podcast, I don't watch them I really don't watch them. And I think it's because I don't know. Maybe because I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go in there and be like, oh, I should have done this better. I mean, I don't really know, but I am proud of my accomplishments, though. I am.
Yeah, I mean, you work really hard to accomplish all these things. Like you have to take the time and enjoy it.
I try.
Older,
I try.
as we get older, it's worse to just stress yourself out.
Well, it's weird because going back and looking at those interviews, I was like, wow, I've never seen this interview. And I'm like, wow, that was a really great interview that I did with J. Cole. I was like, wow, that was amazing. That was amazing,
You see, like seeing it now, though, you're able to enjoy it. Whereas if you watched it when you were younger, you'd be like, oh man, I should have done this.
Right, yeah. And I've also you also get more comfortable with yourself as time goes on. As females in this business, like we're always trying to be like, we try, with our physical appearance and whatever. But I mean, it's not like I've given up. Not fully. No, I'm kidding. No, but I also accept who I am now. As you get older as a female, you also like really accept like, okay, this is what I look like. And if people don't like it, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There was, when radio people years ago, people never knew what they really looked like unless you went to like their club or like an event. Now with the internet being what it is, everyone knows what everybody looks like, so, but for the most part, people are they're very lovely. They're really nice to me. I can't complain. Yeah.
Okay. So what is it like juggling everything that you do with the radio station, the podcast, hosting different events and happy hours and being a mom at the same time? Like, are you able to find a balance?
I think that something always falls through the cracks. So, and my career honestly has always come first. And it's just the way it is. I mean, honestly, I try now, especially with my son, my youngest son, and me being a little bit older and more established. When I was young and trying to get in this business and trying to prove myself and move up and make more money and whatever it might be, I really sacrificed a lot of time with my kids. And I regret that, I regret it. But at the same time, it is what it is, and I have to stop beating myself up about that. I try now to, kind of make things a little bit different. But, if someone hires me to do something or there's something for a client or whatever, I go, and I work. And that's just kind of the way that it works with all DJs pretty much and radio personalities for the most part. When you're hired to do something, you have to go and work. And so, yeah, balancing, juggling, I do a pretty good job of it these days, I guess, because things are a little bit, different for me. Like I said, I'm a little bit more established, but I still, work is a priority for me. It just always has been. And everyone knows, the whole family knows that. I mean, if one of my kids are getting married or something, obviously I'm not going to work on that day. But if it's like, a regular day, we're working. It's just what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Now, being in the hip hop community, what would you say is one of the biggest obstacles that you've noticed that separate a local artist from an industry artist?
I think that's a really hard question, honestly, because, I don't know. I really don't know how people can even be in that side of the business, because that is like such a struggle. I mean, radio is too, entertainment business, TV, everybody's striving, yes. But I don't know. I think that, and honestly, I'm so happy I don't have anything to do with that for the radio station, because I wouldn't be able to pick. I would be like, okay, I would be like, all right, you all get on, but you can't. I mean, I don't know. I really don't even know how to answer that. What this, it's so different. The way that things have evolved over the years. Like when I first started, people would have to get signed to a label, and then their music would be put out through the radio, and then they would become stars for the most part, maybe. And now it's so completely different. If you're an artist, you can just get dope on the internet. And if you have enough followers, now it's like the labels will come after someone with followers and sign them. And then you're on the radio, or they might just say, hey, honestly, we're just going to go straight to this streaming. And there's artists that never really go to the radio. So, things are a lot different than they used to be. Yeah.
Okay, so with all of the people that you met over the years, who was the most memorable and why?
There's nobody that's most memorable. There's been situations that happened. Some people, honestly, I was with Rihanna at the West Indian Social Club when she first came out. I was with Eminem in Providence, and 12 people showed up to his show when Hi My Name Is came out. Like, I hosted a show, and 12 people showed up, and he performed. There's been so many great memories. There's been some stuff that, I wish it was a little different. But, at the end of the day, there's been a lot of really great moments, some memorable interviews for me was like Meek Mill, Wale, and LL Cool J met each other in front of me at the Grammys. I told them all to sit at the same table, and they started talking to each other, which was a big moment because they all didn't know each other, Who else? Jay-Z and R. Kelly interview at the same time on the phone, and Jay-Z was talking about how he was upset with R. Kelly, and R. Kelly was sitting there listening, and no one knew he was on the phone yet. Like, a lot has happened over the years, with artists, and some of my favorite people are Jim Jones, and I love the Lox. They always show so much love, to me. And Graf was here the other day, and that was super dope because I hadn't seen him in a while. And I saw French a couple weeks ago, so that was nice seeing French. I used to do a lot of shows with him when he first started out here. It's strange because with COVID and everything too, things changed, like the dynamic changed. So artists do not travel so much to promote and, do the things that they were doing. So when we get to actually see the artists and experience them or go to a show or whatever, it feels so extra special now. It feels amazing. But I have a good dynamic with, I'm going to say most people, I have good relationships with folks, and I appreciate them. Yeah.
And I've noticed that, like, anytime that we go to any kind of event, like, it's always a good time there. It's always love. Like, everybody shows how much they respect you and admire you.
Well, I was like with a lot of people from the very beginning of their career. You have to understand, like, I interviewed people like J. Cole at the very beginning of his career before his first album even came out, or Kendrick Lamar, when his first album was coming out. And people, so when they see me, they'll sometimes, if they haven't seen me in a long time, they're like, oh yeah, Jenny, but it's nice that people do show me love. I mean, I never expect it. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I don't expect anything from anybody at all. But when people even, and let's get rid of artists and stars. Even in the community, when people say, I grew up to listening to you, Jenny, oh my God, or someone meets me for the first time, and says, oh my God, I thought that was you. And can I hug you? That to me is the most humbling thing ever. That happened to me the other night at my happy hour. A girl walked up and she said, oh my God, I thought it was you, and I've never met you before, and can I hug you? I just love you, and I love listening to you, and I've been listening to you for so long. And that to me means so much. Like, when you have people just walking up to you and saying kind things, and they don't have to, they don't have to go out of their way for that. And people say that to me, that means so much to me. It still does. And it's like, and I still introduce myself to everyone. I'm like, hey, I'm Jenny. And they're like, and some people be like, I know you are. And then some people be like, Jenny who? Wait, Jenny Boom Boom? And they'll be like, oh my God. And, because I don't expect anyone to know who I am. I guess it's just, I think I'm humble that way. I don't walk into a room and expect anything. I want people to just genuinely, just have a good time when they're out at an event. And I always feel so loved. And I'm so happy that I stayed here in Connecticut, I'm so happy I'm here because it's such a wonderful place to be. It really is.
Yeah, this was definitely a great choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what advice would you have for any artists or radio personalities that are looking to get into this business?
I mean, listen, radio now is so different, and there's like so many limited jobs. So, I would say, because my daughter, I told her the other day, she models and stuff, and I told her, I said, you should really get into media. Like, you should do like TV news because you're well spoken, you're good, like you're a good looking person, obviously, and I feel like you just have to work hard. But I would say ask questions, reach out to people, keep good relationships. Some people, and that's even getting back to like artists. Some people get angry because they feel like, they're frustrated because things aren't happening the way they're supposed to happen or whatever. And, in this business, in the entertainment business, people just don't care. If you're looking mad and frustrated and whatever, people are going to be like, I can't. But if you're kind and nice and talk to people and ask questions like, hey, I might want to get into radio or I might want to do TV. A lot of times people will direct you and say, okay, well, this person seems like a hard worker. Maybe we could use them for the street team, or, then they can learn and get their foot in the building. But none of this is easy. And I really want to tell people that it's really, really hard. I mean, we were talking about on the air yesterday. I guess somebody approached Michi and was like, oh, I'm dope. I could be on the radio talking. That's not what the radio is. It's, yeah, cool. I mean, great. You can talk on the radio but we all can. If the radio is not like that. Radio is running your music, being in and out to be entertaining, meaning like getting your breaks in and out and being entertaining the whole time. There's so many tiers of what you have to do. You have to be able to market product, being able to get clients interested in you. So you can bring money into the station. Like there's so many different levels of radio and TV too. Like you have to. It's really hard work. And when Michi started here, my producer, co-host, and promotions director, he's now the promotions director, he used to get off the air at like 2 in the morning. I make the schedule for the station. I would put him back on at 6 a.m. And he would sleep on the couch for 3 hours and then go back in the studio, which sounds torturous. But people put me through that same thing. And they would say, sleep on the couch. You want to be here, you're going to do it because you learn how to be great at your job that way. You learn how to balance your schedule. You learn how to be great even when you're tired or something's wrong. My father died and I came back into work the next day here. Because you have to know how to be great and be on all the time, no matter what's going on in your life. And so it's not a walk in the park. You're not gonna walk in the door and people are gonna be like, here you go, here's the mic, go ahead, say whatever you want. No, you have to work your way up and be amazing the whole time in order to be picked, to then get a position, and then you have to hold that position. That's what this is. That's what the music industry is, the entertainment industry. And that's the same with artists. Artists too. You have to be great. You have to have great relationships. You can't be frustrated. You have to be on all the time, ready to go. When someone walks into a room, you need to be able to sell yourself, shake hands, say, how many people say, you're going to hear from me soon? I'm like, okay. I never hear from them because they don't take the initiative. You have to keep going, and that's what the entertainment business is. This business is super hard. It's really hard. It's not for the faint of heart at all.
I mean, that's what a lot of people don't understand is that's what a hustler is. You have to have that dedication and that commitment, and you have to be willing to make sacrifices to do what you want to do.
Well, yeah. And you work hard all the time. Mm-hmm. So from the time I get up, I know, what I need to do as far as on my end with marketing, whatever, so everything for the station that I have to get done. And I also make a goal at the beginning of each week, how much money I'm going to bring in. So, and I try to bring in that money, and a lot of times I surpass it because I come up with good ideas or a way to figure out an event or whatever it might be. And so I'm always constantly putting in 110% all the time. If I look like I'm resting, I'm actually posting. I'm always doing something because you have to be. You have to be on point all the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there anything else that you have going on or coming up that you would like the listeners to know about?
Well, I think that, I have the radio Monday through Friday, 2 to 6, Hot 93.7, and on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. So I have that. I have Bad Marriage for Life coming back in October. We took a break. It was, that podcast it's hard because me and Vic are literally, Vic's my fiance, my baby daddy. And we started this podcast over a year ago just to kind of talk about some of the things in our relationship. Because we think, listen, we really got tired of watching couples on the internet being like acting perfect. Relationships are not like that. They are legit super hard every single day. You have to put work in. And so we decided to talk about some of the stuff that went on in our relationship, and we're raw. We're super raw with it. And so go check it out when you get a chance, Bad Marriage for Life. You can find it everywhere. It's on the Odyssey app, but also like on YouTube, Bad Marriage for Life with the number 4. But so we have the second season coming back. We actually changed the format a little bit to make it a little bit more reality show-ish. So we're going to be starting that back in October. And other than that, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to still be out here in these streets, which I'm looking forward to. I like it. I love it. And come join me at my happy hours and my events. I just have a blast. It's so much fun.
And now, do you want to give the viewers your social media?
Oh, Jenny Boom Boom TV on Instagram. And you can also, I mean, I guess you could be my friend on Facebook, but I feel like I might have too many. I'm not sure, but it's Jenny Boom Boom. So, but there's a lot of Jenny Boom Booms on Facebook. And I said something one day to my friend, and he's like, "That's super flattering." And I'm like, I don't know. I can't even find myself anymore. But and then there's a girl driving around Connecticut with a Jenny Boom Boom license plate, and I'm like, I would never have that on my car. You know how many like stalkers I've had over the years? But anyway, I feel for her. I mean, I want to call her. I don't know who it is. I want to tell like, don't do that. But anyway, so yeah, Jenny Boom Boom TV, and also on TikTok too. Why not? Yeah, that's it.
Now, I hope this episode was able to help you understand the industry through a radio personality's point of view. I want to thank my special guest, Jenny Boom Boom, for letting me do this interview. Now, my name is Marcus Whitley, and this is Good Behavior. So until the next episode.